The reason your house looks like everyone else's Pinterest board is because you're buying the same stuff from the same 5 stores that everyone else is buying from too. And I used to be exactly like that. I'd walk into a home decor store, grab a throw pillow, a basket, maybe a wall hanging, and go home feeling like I just decorated my house. But so did the next 10 people who walked into that same store that same day. Nothing about it was actually mine. Then I picked up a crochet hook. And I'm not talking about crochet blankets or scarves, the stuff everyone already thinks of when they hear the word crochet. I'm talking about turning a single skein of yarn into a piece of art that makes people stop and ask where you bought it. And you get to say you didn't buy it, you made it. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the most unique crochet home decor ideas out there, the kind that actually make your space feel like yours. And stick around because the last idea I'm going to share is one that completely changed the way I look at my own living room, and I think it might do the same for you. Here's the real problem, though. Most people who crochet or want to learn get stuck in a loop. They learn a stitch, they make a scarf, they make a hat, maybe a blanket if they're feeling brave, and then they stop. They think crochet is just for wearable stuff or cozy blankets. Nobody ever tells them that the same hook and the same yarn can completely transform a room, a wall, a shelf, a window. And that's the gap I want to fill today. Because once you see what's possible, you're not going to look at your empty walls the same way again. Let's start simple. One of the easiest ways to bring crochet into your home is through wall hangings. Not the giant macrame ones you see in every boho apartment, but crochet ones, which have a completely different texture. Macrame is all knots and fringe, but crochet wall hangings can have actual patterns in them, waves, diamonds, even little pictures if you get into tapestry crochet. Imagine a piece above your bed that looks like a sunset, with oranges fading into purples, made entirely out of yarn. That's not something you can just go buy at a store. That's something only you can make, and that alone makes it worth more than anything with a price tag. Next, let's talk about plant hangers, but not the basic ones. Everyone has seen a plant hanging in a net of rope, but have you seen one made with a mix of chunky and thin yarn, with little tassels or beads woven into the pattern? These hangers change the whole feel of a room because plants bring life, and when the hanger itself is a piece of art, you're not just decorating with a plant, you're decorating with a plant and a sculpture at the same time. And the best part is you can match the yarn color to your curtains, your pillows, anything in the room, so it feels like it was always meant to be there. Now, here's one that barely anyone talks about: crochet lamp shades. I know it sounds strange at first, like wouldn't that block the light? But there's a technique where you crochet a thin, open pattern using cotton yarn, almost like a lace, and you slide it over a plain lampshade or even build it around a wire frame. When the light turns on, it doesn't get blocked, it gets filtered, and it throws these soft little patterns onto your walls and ceiling. It's warm, it's soft, and it's something you will never find in a regular store because it's simply too specific, too personal to be mass-produced. Let's move to something a lot of people overlook, which is baskets. Not just any basket, though. Picture a chunky yarn basket sitting by your couch holding blankets, but instead of one plain color, you use a color-changing yarn so the basket looks like it fades from cream to brown, like the inside of a coffee cup. Or you make small baskets for your bathroom to hold rolled-up towels, and you match the yarn to your bathroom tiles. Baskets are functional, but when you crochet them yourself, they stop being just storage. They become part of the room's story. Table runners are another idea that completely surprised me. Most people think of crochet table runners as those old, lacy white ones you'd see at a grandmother's house. And don't get me wrong, those are beautiful too, but you can go a completely different direction. Use thick cotton yarn in deep colors like forest green or rust orange with a simple, modern stitch pattern, and suddenly your dining table looks like something out of a design magazine. It's the kind of piece that makes guests ask questions the second they sit down. Now, here's where it gets a little more creative. Crochet mirror frames. Take a plain, round mirror, the kind you can find cheap almost anywhere, and crochet a frame around the edge using a circular pattern. You can add texture with bobble stitches, little bumps that catch the light, or keep it flat and simple with a solid color that matches your wall. When it's done, it looks like a completely different mirror, like something custom made just for your space, and most people would never guess it started as a plain dollar store mirror. Pillow covers are probably the most common idea, but I want you to think about them differently. Instead of a plain, solid crochet pillow, try mixing textures, ribbed stitches on one half, smooth stitches on the other, or add a fringe border along the edges. Small changes like that take a pillow from basic to something that actually looks designed. And because you're making it yourself, you can build a whole set that matches your color scheme perfectly, instead of hoping the store has the exact shade you need. Let's talk about garlands too, because these are so underrated. Little crochet shapes, hearts, leaves, tiny circles strung together on a piece of string. You can hang these across a mantle, above a window, or even around a mirror. They're small projects, so even if you're newer to crochet, you can finish one in an afternoon, and they instantly make a room feel warmer and more lived in. And here's one more before we get to the big one. Tissue box covers and coaster sets. These sound small, almost too small to matter, but small details are what make a home feel finished. A crochet coaster with a scalloped edge sitting under your coffee cup, a soft fabric box cover hiding an ugly plastic tissue box. These tiny touches are the difference between a house that looks like it's still being decorated and a house that looks complete. Now, here's the moment that changed everything for me. I had all these small crochet pieces scattered around my apartment. A basket here, a pillow there, a little garland on the mantle. And one day, I sat down and realized something. Every single piece used a different, random color. Blues, greens, oranges, all fighting with each other instead of working together. And that's when it hit me. The secret isn't just making crochet decor, it's making crochet decor that all speaks the same language. So I picked 3 colors, just 3, a warm cream, a deep rust, and a soft sage green, and I remade almost everything using only those 3 colors in different combinations. The basket became cream with rust trim, the pillow became sage with a cream border, the wall hanging blended all 3 into a fading pattern. And when I stepped back and looked at the room, it didn't look like a bunch of separate crochet projects anymore. It looked like a designed space. It looked like something you'd see in a magazine, except every single piece was made by hand, by me, with a hook and some yarn. That was the moment I understood that crochet home decor isn't really about the individual pieces. It's about building a system, a small color story that ties your whole home together, so that no matter what room someone walks into, it feels like the same story, just a different chapter.